it. Do it.
All right. What is going on, guys? It is Garrett and Lincoln from RUNAMUCK MMA. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we are bringing you our coverage of UFC Vegas 12 back in the United States. And we are talking about the preliminary card of that event. Halloween, ladies and gentlemen, Halloween. This is what took place. We are going to go over it now. So, spoiler alert, you can see the event, but we're talking about it right now. So, starting off at the beginning of the night, we had Miles Johns versus Kevin Natividad. I probably said that wrong. But Miles Johns gets a TKO in round number 3 off of a brutal uppercut that sends Kevin down to the canvas in
That should just be a regular KO.
in one of the most cartoony ways possible.
Bumped his head on the floor like a WWE wrestler.
Yeah, and kind of like
Crazy.
did that thing with his legs where he was just kind of like
Yeah, like arches.
yeah. I thought that was pretty crazy.
It was crazy. It's one of the craziest of the night.
Now, did you see the controversy though, where they were talking about that Johns may have grabbed onto Kevin's glove?
I have not seen that controversy. No.
But I didn't even think to pull it up, but I'm gonna pull it up right now. Miles Johns versus Kevin. Literally one of the tabs right here. Of course, it's on Reddit. I think that's where I saw it.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Reddit's got all of the information that we should all be researching.
Yeah.
All right, let's see it.
Yeah. So this was right before the finishing sequence. I know the video is probably going to be shitty for all of you people at home. And it's already kind of shitty for us.
We're trying.
Yeah. Again, let me see if I can fast forward it just a little bit. Okay, so it was as soon as they leave the fence right here. Obviously, Natividad is trying to fend off this takedown, and he pulls away, and that's not really a good angle that you can see it from.
So he's grabbing it with his left hand?
Yeah, it's basically here. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find something better, because it really was. Okay.
But so he's grabbing with his left hand as he's throwing an uppercut with his right hand is the argument.
Basically, yeah. And
okay.
Here it is. Here it is. Yeah, so he's grabbing it right there. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying, yeah.
Like there's.
But it's one of those like.
Did he mean to grab it? Did he grab it?
It looks like he did grab it, but the intention I don't think was there.
Right.
Because like when you're trying to grab a wrist,
really there though.
Yeah, exactly. But when you're trying to grab a wrist, I could see like you accidentally hooking your finger into it. Because like even when we're just play wrestling and shit, like we'll get hooked on each other's clothes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like he let go before he connected is my defense.
Yeah. So, but regardless of
controversy nonetheless, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, regardless of what we think about it, he was one of the 4 fighters to get the performance of the night bonus, because that was arguably one of the best KOs of the night. So yeah, speaking of KOs and TKOs, we move on to Dustin Jacoby. Miles Johns, I wanted to say, was actually a Contender Series alumni from 2018, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir.
And Dustin Jacoby bridging
a lot to the Contender Series.
Yes, we love the Contender Series. And the Contender Series also gave us Dustin Jacoby, who was on season 4 of the Contender Series this past week. He was on the first episode of season 4, link in the description. And he was fighting Justin Ledet, who fought and lost, if I'm not mistaken, back in January of this year. So Dustin Jacoby not his UFC debut, but his UFC debut where he won his UFC debut. Because he was in the UFC, I think 9 years ago, and he made his UFC debut then. Not the point. But Dustin Jacoby basically came in round number one, put down Justin Ledet with vicious leg kicks. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, Dustin Jacoby is an accomplished kickboxer, fighting for the likes of Glory Kickboxing. So he was a very gifted kickboxer, and going up against Justin Ledet, whose credentials are in boxing, actually has a flawless boxing record. I believe 9-0 in boxing. Was not ready for the kicking aspect that Jacoby was going to bring to the table, and in fact kicked Ledet's leg so hard Ledet couldn't even stand on it. So that was pretty impressive.
Beautiful.
Yeah, Dustin Jacoby doing the Contender Series pride.
Victory.
Yes. So moving on, we had Cole Williams versus Jason Witt. You might be better at me than talking about this because I actually missed the submission on this.
I missed it as well.
Well, Jason Witt got a submission.
Got a submission. We both. That was the one fight I didn't see.
That was actually the fight that I wanted to keep it live, so I didn't pause it. I actually left it running because I knew Jason Witt was going to win anyway because I had watched the first round and literally half of the second or some of the second, and me and Zeta went to go get food. Like,
yeah,
right.
I went and made food because Jason Witt was just whooping him.
Yeah, but basically, as soon as I walked out the door is when I guess he got the submission. But yeah, so he won that. Good for him. Yeah, I mean, it was obviously just a dominating fight.
It was.
Cole Williams was completely just did not know what he was doing on the ground at all. Could not do anything. Had nothing to compete with Jason Witt on the floor. So anyway, moving on, we had Sean Strickland versus Jack Marshman. Sean Strickland coming off of a 2-year layoff off of a horrific motorcycle accident he was involved in. I covered that in the Atop the Undercard episode, which aired on Friday or Thursday, excuse me. And I talked about it there in great length, but basically Sean Strickland came out in this fight and beat and bloodied Jack Marshman, but being the proud Welsh man that he is, Jake Marshman did not go down. I feel like obviously the most entertaining aspect about this fight was just how Sean Strickland was just practically yelling the entire time.
Why won't you go down?
Yeah, I thought that was.
I knew I'd like you.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty
Beautiful.
amazing. Yeah, I thought that was some pretty cool stuff. And then they had a lot of good sportsmanship moments after the fact. But I thought that was pretty funny. Sean Strickland was like, "I'm not going to get a bonus if you don't go down." So I mean, that was just really funny when even the commentators are like, "We should probably shut up so we can hear what they're saying."
Yeah, exactly.
Because it wasn't even like it was trash talk; it was more of just
It was just
conversation.
exactly. It's beautiful. It's just one of those. MMA is just such an interesting sport.
It really is.
It's
Yeah.
like you kind of get that like when you do NFL mic'd up and you hear what like the linemen are saying to the offense or the defense, and you're just like, oh, that's hilarious. But then whenever it's in a fight, it's even more hilarious.
Yeah. So yeah, Sean Strickland did great there. One of only 2 or 3 decisions, I believe, on this entire event. Yeah, one of only 3 decisions. So yeah, moving on, we have another Contender Series alum in Adrian Inez. I always say Yanez, but apparently it's, yeah, Lil Masvidal, going up against Victor Rodriguez, who again covered this in the first episode of Atop the Undercard Thursday. Victor Rodriguez was actually not the initial opponent for Inez. Instead, it was supposed to be Aaron Phillips, but unfortunately, he had to pull out due to injury. And Victor Rodriguez very enthusiastically filled that spot. However, he was no match for Adrian Inez, excuse me. And Adrian pretty much put him to sleepy sleep with a nice little head kick.
He got the head kick, and Victor was just screaming, Adrian, in his sleep. So, it's just I'm just a huge fan of Inez.
Yes.
He's very like me and you watched him on the Contender Series. We felt for him and his story, and I'm just so excited to see what he continues to do, and I hope he continues to impress us.
Yes, for sure. Definitely looking forward to more of the stuff this guy's got for us. Very, very impressive. Very excited to see what else he's got. And I think another thing that makes him a really cool guy to watch is that he's a very genuine, down to earth person. You know, you and I were talking about this, and I believe he lost his father. Um,
In
and
2016.
yeah, and that's been one of the biggest driving factors for him in accomplishing his goals in MMA. And you know, you can definitely see how close he was to his father, how much his father meant to him. Because every time he talks about him in his interviews and stuff, he gets really choked up, and it's really the only times we see him choked up. And when I talk about this guy's emotions, one of the things that also impresses me about him is that when he was in this fight with Victor Rodriguez, this guy who was someone he hadn't trained for, someone he didn't know he was going to be fighting, he was just cool, calm, and collected pretty much the entire time. You know, he didn't let any kind of adversity sway him, and he planted that high kick on him that apparently he had been talking to his
I'm
training
gonna hit him with the
partners.
high kick.
Yeah, that he was thinking about doing all the time. I know you really enjoy it when fighters talk about stuff like that. So yeah, so
Love it.
totally looking forward to more of Adrian Inez. And that brings us to the main draw of the preliminary card, the final bout on the card. Chris Gritzmacher. I have to correct myself because in the Atop the Undercard episode that I put out, I kept calling him Grutzemacher, which is my fault. It is Chris Gritzmacher versus Alexander Hernandez. Gritzmacher being another person who had a 2-year layoff due to various injuries, including ACL tear, and was going up against Alexander Hernandez, who was coming off of his loss to Drew Dober, I believe earlier this year, if I'm not mistaken.
You're correct.
And Alexander Hernandez was another person who there's a lot of stuff going on in his life. After his loss to Drew Dober, pretty much ever since his loss to Donald Cerrone, and his loss to Donald Cerrone, his very, very close decision victory over Francisco Trinaldo, and his very embarrassing loss to Drew Dober, he was just like, I want to give up. You know, he was like, I'm done, can't do it anymore. I'm not cut out for this MMA stuff. And he legitimately felt that he was ready to retire. And, you know, thankfully his coaches were like, shut up. You can't do that. We're not going to let you do that. You're talented. You've got potential. But I guess Alexander Hernandez just wasn't getting that level of competition he needs at his gym. You know, his sparring partners were getting really good working with him, but he had plateaued. He couldn't reach that next level. And I guess he was going around for a while, and he finally found a new gym up in Denver, Colorado. And he went up there. He got his girlfriend, all his stuff. They packed up and they moved to Colorado. He's still in contact with his old teammates, but he's now at this new camp in Denver, and he's working with them. And he came out yesterday evening, and he really showed what improvements he
He really
made.
did.
Yeah.
I was all for Alexander Hernandez retiring because I was like, he just really isn't. He doesn't got the stuff. But boy, was I wrong.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he pretty much outclassed Gritzmacher. I mean, he hit him, with that really good high kick early on, and then just kind of like continued and finished him with, those vicious combos, got that uppercut, and basically just put the guy down. And I mean, the smile, the crazy smile on Alexander Hernandez's face after the fact pretty much just says everything you need to know. I mean, he really did great in that fight.
Getting close to tears when he goes to talk to his corner after the fight.
Yeah, because I mean that's got to be really vindicating, you know, to be on the
It really
brink
does.
of almost giving up, almost hanging up the gloves, but to give it that other shot, to do what you felt like needed to be done, and come out here and see the results. I think is really really vindicating, and it's really impressive
It was a night of vindication.
for sure. Um, So yeah, I don't know if you have any more. Oh, by the way, Alexander Hernandez is the other guy who got performance of the night bonus. I believe it was. Um, yeah, it was Adrian. I believe it was Adrian. Yeah, it was Adrian Inez who got the one of the bonuses. Um, Alexander Hernandez got his bonus, and let's see here, Miles Johns, like I said already, got his bonus, and Kevin Holland, I think, was the other person that got a bonus. But yeah, I think that covers pretty much everything we have to cover for the preliminary card for yesterday. I don't know if you
Yes,
have
sir.
anything else.
No, sir.
All right, so I guess that's going to do it for this part. Tune in for part 2 where we talk about the main card. And then I believe we're going to have a separate video, if I'm not mistaken, where we just talk about Uriah Hall and Anderson Silva. Maybe. We'll see.
We'll
So
see.
make sure you tune in for that. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what was your favorite fight off of the preliminary card. And we will see you guys next time. Peace.